Hi guys, my name is Laban Wellman and today I'll be reviewing author Carrie Blakely's short article, Crazy Old Cat Ladies. As I review the article, I will show you a few of my various annotations as well as I will be sort of explaining to you how she uses definition to give the reader a more in-depth review of the stereotype Crazy Old Cat Lady. So Blakely starts out the article by she begins the article by giving an anecdote about a young woman chastised by her mom for owning multiple cats. Her mother says things like, "What if you want to bring a guy home? What would he think?" Blakely goes on to give another story about a young single graduate student who rescued a cat. Her name Laura Adamson. Um, Many people called her a crazy old cat lady. She also includes that usually they followed up with, "Do you take your cat for walks or does it eat at the table with you?" So here the author is giving two examples of young females that are made fun of or given a negative stereotype for owning cats. Um, she later on talks about how there are 93 million cats in the U.S. versus 77 million dogs. And out of 463 cat owners, 80% were women, most of which we assume to be older. And then she goes on to say how experts can't seem to quite pinpoint when exactly Crazy Old and Cat Lady were strung together to create one specific stereotype. But it is blatant that Crazy Old Cat Lady is a string of words often used together. She explains that historically, the reason old ladies are stereotyped with cats and crazy old cat ladies is that historically women live longer than men, most of whom are widows, lonely, and can easily take care of a cat. Some taking in strays which eventually mate with other strays, and soon they are a herd of cats living in their yard. In addition, old women are perfect for taking care of cats because they're easy to take care of and they are much smaller than other pets like dogs. Here she goes on to say women are probably more drawn to stray cats and kittens than stray dogs simply because they're smaller and easy to round up. Like I said, for an old lady, it would be very simple for them to take care of a cat, and it would give them plenty of company and make them less lonely. They're widowed. She also writes about how many women hoard cats because they are very simple to take care of, and also they are decent companions. Meaning that they're very good companions for old women. They would give them good company. She also shows that how cats are often connected to women in the use of slurs like kitten, a sexy girl, or cougar, an older woman who likes young men, catty, being spiteful and malicious, and generally used to describe women, and of course, this word that's highlighted that I'm not going to say out loud, that is interchangeable for a cat or a part of a woman's anatomy. So here she's, explaining how etymologically, um, cats and women are connected with the use of bad slurs. Women being called, cat names in a negative use. Towards the end of the article, Blakely writes about how women could be historically closer to cats because women worked in the house, whereas the men worked outside with the dogs. She goes here and says, cats were ratters or mousers inside the home, and women traditionally worked inside the home. Dogs, on the other hand, were given specific tasks like hunting, guarding, or pulling wagons, which required them to be outside with men. She also says that it's women who are usually feeding and caring for everyone. Dogs, on their hand, become men's best friend. And she says how some experts believe that the different personality traits are what generally draw women to cats and men to dogs. They deliver doting behavior without their male having to ask for it and are seen as less of a threat than cats. Dogs are. And so she's saying how, men are historically more connected to cats because they seem or to dogs because they seem less of a threat than cats, and how women are generally more connected to cats because of their personalities. And she says how that could be because women have a more nourishing personality and cats enjoy attention and care, which women often give displays of affection like this. She goes on to write about how she says still plenty of men and even more of the most macho ones in history, like Ernest Hemingway and Sir Winston Churchill, have been fanatic cat lovers. Cats have become a more attractive option for the average guy. She says Betty Saul says anecdotally that more men than ever are adopting felines. She says cats are losing some of their negative mystique. She later goes on to add another quote about how newly liberated cats, male cat lovers, would help reduce the number of adoptable homeless animals killed every year, which in general would help the earth. And just the well-being of cats in general. Um, so now I'll give you a brief analysis of the article and how I'll explain how she uses definition to give the reader a more in-depth review of the stereotype crazy old cat lady. Blakely uses rhetorical mode definition to thoroughly explain the history and definition of a crazy cat lady. Definition is the exact meaning or explanation of a word, phrase, or concept as a crazy cat woman. Although a definition essay takes a concept or definition more broadly, moving beyond a dictionary definition to deeply examine a word or concept as we actually use and understand it. Blakely starts by writing about how young people today can be called cat ladies and what it takes to be called a cat lady. And later, she explains the origins and reasons for old ladies being obsessed with cats and why they can be generally more connected with cats as they get older. Throughout the entire article, she writes about crazy old cat ladies and tries to give the reader the definition of a crazy old cat lady through her text. I hope you enjoyed. That'll be it.